Good morning, all. FrozenFoxy here once again. We are heading out on Sunday, I believe it is, the 19th of February here, and we are nearing the last legs of the trip here. This is going to be the shortest drive, in that it's going to be about 4.5 hours long. So I'm glad we put the longest drive behind us yesterday. Which was the nearly 9-hour drive. Unfortunately, it seems like the rain has come back from the first day. Not nearly as bad, but it is raining. Obviously, Cream is rolling around in her crate. I really wish I could totally point the camera at Cream, but I can't do that unfortunately. But she loves to do this thing where she rolls around on her back and then gets right side up again. She's like, basically, if you ever seen a dog do roll over, Cream does that constantly in her crate. Just roll over, roll over, roll over. I don't know what she is attempting to do, but it's hilarious and adorable. She also can get to be quite noisy, and it looks like there is an ambulance that is coming here, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull over for it, let it pass by, as no one lets me back in. You guys are assholes here in Texas. Someone flashed their lights at me. Thank you so much. At least someone's nice. But yeah, we are on our way out of Texas right now, and we'll be hitting Tucson, Arizona next, so that will be nice. I've been to Tucson before, as well as Mesa. I actually have a friend who worked at the museum down in I want to say it was Mesa, but he helped to put together the dinosaur exhibit, and got to build the little statue things that they have all around there. It's a pretty neat place if you've never been to that particular museum. They've got a lot of models and fake plants around and stuff to kind of make it look like what it could have looked like during the time of the dinosaurs. And then of course they've got the usual dinosaur bones and stuff like that, but they spruce it up a lot with the kind of dioramas that they've got going on. It's a pretty cool place. I really liked it. There's been a lot of interesting museums that I've had the opportunity to visit over the years. I think the biggest one I've ever visited was probably the one in France, which is Le Louvre. I think I spent probably 6 hours in Le Louvre, just walking around, looking at all the different things, and I don't think I even managed to get close to seeing all of the museum. It's just gigantic, and it's beautiful too. Like, not only does it house art and statues and all that kind of stuff, but the building itself has been made to be art. Like, the ceilings are all painted in there. There's statues that line the outside of the building. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. If you ever get the chance, definitely go. The only reason I got the chance was because I was sent to Hungary to do training for one of my jobs in the past, because they had an engineering team in Hungary and they had an engineering team in Germany, which totaled I want to say there was about 10 people between the two offices, but there was only 3 of us here in the United States that had been put onto the new product, and rather than have all of them come over here, which would have been really expensive, they shipped the 3 of us over to Hungary and had the German colleagues drive down to Hungary so that we could all be in the same office together. It was a really unique experience for sure. I think for the first 3 days I was just in awe of the architecture and all the different things. There's like buildings that are still in ruins from World War I. that have never been rebuilt, and it's just it's a very interesting place to be at, and to actually talk to my Hungarian colleagues and understand what it's like living out there. It changes your perspective a lot if you've only been in the United States for most of your life, or in any country in general, I would assume, because Hungary is still a pseudo-communist country. And I remember I was talking to my coworkers there, and they told me about the fact that when you're going through their equivalent of grade school or high school, if you get low marks when you're coming out of it, the government basically decides what your job title is going to be for the rest of your life. So if they decide that you're going to be a waiter for the rest of your life, that is your title. That doesn't mean that you get a job for the rest of your life. That means that you must only get jobs that have the title waiter. You can't do anything else. You have no ability to get promoted. You have no ability to go out and seek anything else, and you're just kind of stuck. You're kind of stuck there. And I was like, oh, that's terrible. And he mentioned that if you get high enough marks when you're coming out to go to university, then you get the opportunity to go to university. However, it's going to be where you get your marks high enough that the government will give you options to go to university. You can't just go to university because you got high marks in math and you want to go do something that isn't math related. They will force you to go into a field that will be math related, even if you don't like it. It was a very strange kind of thought process in my head. It's like for them that's part of their culture, and that is not unusual for them. But it just the thought of being that cowed to the point that you can't really make any decisions for yourself it's crazy. Like here where I've lived my entire life in the United States, I get to make decisions all day long for myself. And I can make stupid decisions, I can make good decisions, but it's all on me. The government doesn't really control my decisions outside of making me pay taxes. Though sometimes some of those taxes are a little bit dumb too. But it gave me a fresh perspective on what is worth complaining about in life. It really did. It was very different. The German colleagues that I was working with there had told us that we really should go hike up to a place called Cittadella, and said it's a great tourist location. You really should go up there if you get the opportunity. So one day after we had been working during the week on the weekend, went up to Cittadella, and it was about a 3-mile hike-ish, but it was nearly straight up the side of a hill or mountain, depending on how you look at it, and it was rough. It was rough getting up there. By the time we got up there, we're looking at what looks like basically this big cement building or brick. I don't know what it was specifically, but it's basically got a cannon that is sticking out of the top of this thing, and we're like, this is like a military base or something. And we went around the other side, and they were selling some food at a stand, and they had buses coming up, and I was like, I am not walking down. We're gonna go on this bus. And we came down on the bus, and later that day we went to go eat dinner with my Hungarian colleagues, and they asked what we had done that day. We told them that we hiked up to the Cittadella, and their faces fell. Like, they just absolutely instantly fell, and one of them was like, oh. And I was like, what's wrong? And they said, well, do you know what the Cittadella was used for? and said it looked like it had a gun emplacement on the top, so it's probably some kind of military base or something like that. And they're like, yeah, sort of like that. And they said, do you know where the gun is pointed? And I said, I would assume it would be pointed at other countries in defense of Hungary. And he says, no, it's pointed at us to control us, to make sure that we don't revolt. And I was like, holy shit, that is a very, very different kind of mentality in a country, to literally be pointing weapons at your own people and say, hey, don't revolt, because if you do, we're going to shoot you. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. It was shocking and mind-blowing, knowing that sort of thing is going on there for them. And they were just colleagues that I worked with all the time, and it was not something that I was expecting to really experience and see for myself out there. I didn't think it would be that way. I really didn't. But it was, and I have to say the food was extremely cheap. Like you could spend the equivalent of a quarter, a U.S. quarter, and get a sandwich, a bag of chips, and a drink. And this was 2015, by the way. Except for the fact that it tasted like a quarter. It was not good food. But I mean, with the realization that people are forced into these jobs, there is no opportunity for someone to take pride in their job, to make food that is going to be tasty, because they're stuck with these jobs. They don't care. They don't want to make it nice. They really don't. Why would you want to do that if you've been forced into a job that you're probably not interested in? On top of that, you could get hired for a job, and if they didn't like the look of you, they could fire you the second that you came in the door. There was no protections for workers whatsoever there. It's a very, very different kind of community. The people who drove there, they drove like race car drivers, rather than the lights that we're used to in the United States, where you have a green light, then it goes yellow for caution, and then red for stop. They had green light and then instantly to red, and then it would hold on red, and yellow would come on at the same time to warn you that it was about to be green, so that people could start revving their engines like it was a fucking racetrack. It was ridiculous. It was horrifying. So some of the times, like there was a taxi driver that we had that was driving probably nearly 50 miles an hour straight at parked cars, and somehow managed to squeeze into the traffic, even though it was like bumper to bumper traffic. And I was like, I'm gonna die if I continue to stay here for much longer. So after those 3 days of stars in my eyes and enjoying Hungary, it was just downhill. It was absolutely downhill. It was like, oh no, I don't know that I want to stay here much longer. I just want to go home. It was just random things like that. We also had a hotel room with air conditioning that we thought didn't work, because between the outside being about 95 degrees Fahrenheit to the inside being 93 degrees Fahrenheit, I was like, this isn't working. I've put the air conditioning down and put it on full blast here, and went to go talk to the front desk of the hotel. They came up to look at it, and they're like, oh, it's working fine. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like, it's miserable in here. But that's just the way it was. That's just how the air conditioning worked there. But there was good things too. Like my Hungarian colleagues took us to this stairwell that looked like it was like a stairwell leading down into an alley, and just kept going down, down, down. I was like, are you taking us down here to murder us or something? But when we opened a door at the very bottom of this staircase, it opened into an underground go-kart racetrack. and it was the coolest thing. We all went go-karting underground with these go-karts that probably went like 40 to 50 miles an hour. These things were fast, man. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I really wish I could go do that again. That was one of the biggest highlights for sure. Was getting to go and enjoy doing this underground racing there. I think I won exactly one of the races, and then the other ones I didn't. I've never been that fantastic at race car games, let alone race cars in real life. I'm pretty decent at UTVs through the mountains, though. I can do that. Let's see what else was cool there. There's a place called I want to say Gelata Rosa, and basically they had gelato that they were shaping into petals, like flower petals, and putting it alongside of a cone until they built a rose out of gelato. And they had really interesting flavors like elderflower and stuff like that. It was very unique and a wonderful experience for sure. So I mean, I don't recommend against going there. Like it was very interesting. It was fun, and it's worth visiting. But I couldn't ever see myself living.
Welcome to New Mexico.
Hey, we're in New Mexico. Awesome. But I couldn't ever see myself living in that kind of culture. It's too foreign to me and my concepts of what is good for people's freedoms, you know, which is very strange, because I mean there's other people out there that live in these cultures, and it's no never mind to them. it's just usual. It's the normal, but not for me. Anyway, at the end of the I can't remember if it was like 2 or 3 weeks, but it was a decent amount of time. Took a plane. I want to say it was Sky Blue. They kind of treated you like cattle, loading you into the plane. But took that over to Paris, France, and that's where I got to see Le Louvre. And I went down to see the catacombs down there, which was a pretty cool experience, both in temperature and just the experience in general, because you're going down this winding staircase that just keeps on going down. It's kind of similar to the go-karts, except a lot deeper. And when you get out there, there's actually skulls and bones, so I would have probably thought I was going to be murdered. But yeah, it was very unique to really go down there and see what it was like in the catacombs. But a lot of the reason that these catacombs were created was because there was far too many deaths during the plagues that they could not put these into cemeteries. It was overflowing, so they had to put it somewhere, and they've literally built walls of skulls and other bones, just so they can throw the detritus over the back. So just loose bones they're throwing back there, rib cages and all that kind of stuff, and they've made walls out of them so that they can throw bones into it. And it's a very strange and kind of creepy situation, but at the same time it's very, very interesting. It's an interesting thing to go to and really kind of like be engrossed in that history of what it was, and how much death actually existed during that time. So yeah, I mean, I do recommend going to see it, as long as you aren't scared of that kind of thing. It is very, very unique. I do want to go back. There's a lot of places that I missed being able to see. I wanted to go and see Notre Dame, or Notre Dame, depending on how you're pronouncing that. I wanted to go see the Musée d'Orsay. I didn't get to see that. There's so many cool really get to see any kind of museums in Hungary. I did go out to the Hungarian Zoo out there, which had the funniest thing that I've ever seen in my life. There was a guinea pig village that they had built, just like these little tiny houses and stuff with guinea pigs going in and out of it. I swear there was thousands of guinea pigs. It was crazy. Just got squealing everywhere. But yeah, it was very unique experiences. Very unique experiences. There's many places that I would love to go and get the chance to visit someday. But right now, I'm just driving across the United States instead of flying out across the pond to other countries right now. I do want to try and get up to Alberta later this year, so hopefully that ends up working out. I want to go see the Canadian Rockies up there. I think that would be really cool, and I've got a few friends that I know up in Alberta, so it would be nice to just hang out, get the amazing maple syrup that Canada is known for, and try to avoid the moose, because those things are dangerous as hell. We had moose back in Colorado when I lived there, but they were very small, and the big animals that were out there were the elk. I remember driving up to Estes Park in Colorado, and there was this elk that decided to walk out in the middle of the road, and he was so big that he was taking up 2 lanes. So imagine the 2 lanes that we're looking at right now on this video, and the elk is literally big enough to take up both of these lanes. He towered above my car. He was gigantic, and there was like velvet that was slowly coming down off of his antlers, because I think he was probably a yearling. But he was massive, absolutely massive, and it's really awe-inspiring to see some of these animals in person, because they are truly huge, truly huge. I mean, it makes a lot of sense why H.P. Lovecraft in his books, a lot of his monsters that are unfathomable and horrifying, they're just gigantic in scale, because even though you really can't comprehend how gigantic those creatures are in the Lovecraftian universe, getting to just see very, very large creatures in person, it really gives you a respect for just how amazingly gigantic some of these creatures are. The Georgia Aquarium actually has whale sharks in their tank there, and they are massive creatures. So I have a feeling that some of that knowledge that H.P. Lovecraft had with things being massive in the ocean played into why there are ocean creatures, old ones and sleepers down there, like Dagon and so forth. So yeah, no, it's very interesting. Someday I wanna figure out how to manage to record Call of Cthulhu, Dark Corners of the Earth. I tried to record it for a while during one of my Halloween specials. I want to say it was probably back in 2013, something like that. But it had so many issues where it would either crash or glitch, and you just could not continue, that I eventually gave up on it and did something else. I don't remember what I did for 2013. I'd have to go look back. Someone probably knows who's watching this what was done in 2013. But it wasn't Call of Cthulhu. I did want to do that. They did do a newer Call of Cthulhu game, which would be interesting to go out and check out. I've heard that one is really good. But yeah, I wanted to do the older one. I think there was a lot of horror games that I tried to do, and it just wasn't working out for recording them. I did try to do Clive Barker's Undying, and and that didn't work very well either. So things that I will eventually come back around to and try out again. Hopefully at some point I will get the chance to actually do it correctly, and it will end up on the channel. But yeah, I really need to like lean more into horror games in the future, because I've got quite a plethora of horror games that I've been wanting to do, and I just haven't really had the chance to do them, or they've been difficult to record. Same thing with adventure games. There's been a lot of adventure games that I wanted to record that were not working out very well. Really want to do Still Life at some point. I love that game. It's a fantastic game. And then Longest Journey. Love that game too. Very good game. A lot of the older ones that I enjoyed playing in my childhood, like Full Throttle, have been remade. So I think those ones will probably be easier to record, since they've got revamps of them that I can use to make it happen. And I do want to do that at some point. I think Full Throttle is probably a really high up there with one of my favorites. I mean, come on, Flight of the Valkyrie and bunnies exploding. If you don't know what I'm talking about, oh my gosh, that game is great. It is a fantastic game. Yeah, it will have to be something that I eventually do. But there's just lots and lots that I have planned for the future. It's just how am I going to get it done? That's the biggest problem along the way. There's so many things. I'd say there's probably a couple thousand different games that I'd like to do. My phone is doing some weird stuff right now with the lighting because of the windshield wipers going by it over and over again. I imagine this is probably going to show up in the video, so I'm sorry. It's going to be this weird strobing thing. I need to put like a seizure warning. God, stupid phone. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and leave you guys off for now, because we're nearing the 28-minute mark here. I've been making some long rambling videos, just talking about random things. I don't know how much you guys like this. If this is something interesting to you, it's kind of like a very random, weird podcast that I've got going on. Someone mentioned, hey, it's like Euro Truck, and I'm like, I guess sort of. I don't know that I would really do Euro Truck for much more than what I'm doing here. Kind of like the podcast of the road. All right, guys. Well, I will talk to you later. Bye for now.